Hey, everybody, welcome to the Triple B Experience podcast. And we're coming back at you again with not just another podcast, but an experience. I'm Gary. This right here is Cable.
Hello, everybody.
And this gentleman right here is Mr. Triple B himself, Bubba Brewer.
Good evening, everybody.
How's it going, guys?
Not too bad.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know, but we're going to keep going anyway.
Well, Bubba almost had a heart attack after the last Steeler game, so we're glad he's here with us tonight. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But Bubba, why don't you take us in and tell us what we got going on tonight?
Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the Triple B Experience, we have a great guest. This gentleman has served our great forces in the United States Marines. He also has been acting in numerous projects, and he was on Queen of the South. And honestly, guys, he's probably the most relevant because he's the youngest. Actually, he's the youngest guy we got. So we're happy with that because he can actually talk about stuff that's actually going on today. So everybody put our hands together and welcome Michael Lloyd, everybody, to the Triple B Experience.
Hey, so this is Michael Lloyd. He is one of, in my opinion, one of the up-and-coming stars. And Mike, before we get into everything, how does that make you feel, that comment? Because I'm not the only one that thinks so. I think you've been getting that a lot, maybe. Is there a lot of pressure that goes with that, or?
Yeah, like no pressure at all, but you're definitely the next up and coming thing. No, I mean, it's weird. It's weird because I never thought that I'd ever be in this kind of place where I'd have someone promoting me or wanting to promote me and wanting to put my name out there as much as I do. So it's nice to have people take interest in me and my story, and being able to tell my story is really, really nice and everything. And the whole experience is amazing. I can't even put words to it, to be honest with you.
Well, that's great. We're glad to have you. So let's start by, getting into the early years. Like, where are you from? What were you like as a kid? Those kind of things.
Well, I was a dumb child, like any other child. So actually, I'll start with I probably have like the most head injuries as a child. You can't see it on camera, but you might be able to see some of my pictures. As I had this scar in the middle of my forehead that a lot of people have liked to make Harry Potter references to, like, oh, the boy who lived. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not played anymore. And that was from a time where I cracked my head open. I was like 5 years old or something. I was going downstairs. There was an accident. I was rolling downstairs, hit the corner of a wall, split my head open, had to get stitches, right? And my parents like to tell the story about when I was getting stitches, I was like crying from the pain and everything, right? And as the doctor was stitching me, I would stop crying and go cross-eyed and watch him come down with the knot as he was stitching me. So watching the knot. So that kind of dumb child. I was the child that my coach had to make a comment about how many times I got hit in the face with the soccer ball throughout the season. Because I took like the most hits. It was growing up. Okay. Soccer was my main sport growing up.
Were you at least a goalie? So getting hit in the face is a good thing?
I was for 1 year. I was really good at it. Like nobody scored on me all year except for the ones that went above my head because I was a shorty at that time. Yeah. And I couldn't, white man can't jump. But yeah, that was my sport growing up. And I grew up in Tucson, Arizona. That's where I'm originally from. And I grew up in a, pretty normal Christian household. But my mom is actually an entrepreneur and an inventor. Oh, nice. She invented hair products, or started out hair products, and started with the French twister, which none of you guys are probably going to know anything about because,
that
especially me, man.
I have the longest hair out of everybody. That's intrigued me.
And he's the oldest one, too.
Yeah, I'm the oldest one.
You ever get a French twist, Bubba?
Maybe.
You can probably French twist the beard. We try that out. See how that looks.
Yeah.
And she went on shows like The Big Idea with Donnie Deutsch. She's met people like Billy Mays when he was still around. And even went on Shark Tank to pitch her idea, TC Pets, which was a product that she made or invented for children to basically have a way of organizing their things in a fun way. It had like secret pockets and compartments and stuff like that, where children can store their things. So I kind of grew up in an interesting household where when your mom's an inventor and an entrepreneur like that, you kind of have a privileged life. But she's not around a lot. She was traveling a lot, going to conventions and stuff like that. I was adopted by my who I consider my only father, because my birth father is non-existent in my life. And he was around a lot more. So I feel like I was primarily raised by him, really. And after high school, I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to join the military practically all my life. Originally wanted to be a pilot, but that didn't really pan out. I didn't do well in school. So it wasn't in the cards for me. Instead, I
Mike, don't you have to have like, was your eyesight good if you were educated enough to actually have that? But was your eyesight good enough to get you to be an airplane pilot?
I mean, my physical attributes and everything like that fit the bill. I'm 6 feet tall. I could fit in a cockpit. I, had the physical stamina to be able to withstand, I believe, the training to become a pilot. I just did not have the grades to become an officer, because you have to go to college, get a bachelor's degree, and they don't really even care what area you get. It could be a liberal arts degree, and just to become an officer.
That's most jobs nowadays. It doesn't matter what the decree says, but as long as you have it, right?
Right, exactly. And so that wasn't in the cards for me. I ended up joining the Marine Corps, and I became a tanker instead, and I drove the M1A1 main battle tank.
Nice.
That's
from
awesome.
2010 to 2013 when I was medically discharged.
Now, you said you've wanted to do that for most of your life. Was there, we have a friend that went into that, and he was motivated by, September 11th. Was that anything to do with that?
Oh, September 11th definitely had a huge influence in my decision to join the military. I grew when you grow up in Tucson, Arizona, the city is basically built around Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base is one of the largest air bases that we have in the country. And growing up around planes and going to the air shows and everything like that is primarily what inspired me to be a pilot. There was just something about that I really wanted to pursue. But I tried to do well in school. I didn't do well in school for a multitude of reasons. I do struggle with ADHD or ADD. I haven't been officially diagnosed, but the symptoms are definitely there. And, some of the issues I was having, especially socially in school, I didn't have a whole lot of friends or anything like that. I kind of felt like the outcast a lot. So I struggled a lot. So I decided the best path I could still enlist. I just wouldn't be an officer, wouldn't be able to be a pilot, but I could work on getting my GI Bill, which could help pay for me to go to school, which, could get my degree, become an officer, become a pilot. That was the plan. That was all kind of taken away from me when I was medically discharged. I had a mental breakdown. So I got, med boarded out through, psych evaluations and stuff like that. And now I have to, go to therapy and all these other kinds of things, but I do collect disabilities. So that kind of helps me pay the bills, but I do still have to work like a day job to,
Well, thank you for your service, though. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Oh, I appreciate the support, guys. I really do.
It's funny. My uncle, who I was very close with, he kind of had the same path. Like he wanted same thing. He wanted to go to the Air Force. I don't think he had the grades to do that. So he went to the Marines, and then he ended up going to the Air Force, into the Air Force. So yeah, kind of similar there. So let me ask you this. You know, you mentioned about ADHD. How did that play with being in the military? Was that tough?
You know, not really. I think there was having the structure that was there was very, I don't know, it felt normal to me. It felt normal, you know, to have someone tell me what to do. And, you know, I had no problem following orders or anything like that. I was motivated to be there.
Okay.
I was motivated. I wanted to be there, you know, so it and I enjoyed what I did. You know, it was hard. It was definitely hard. And it was trying on me for sure. You know, mentally going through boot camp and all the other training that, you know, you got to go through and the experiences that you have to have. But I don't think I ever hated it. The only thing that I hated was having to be around other Marines that didn't get what they wanted and were there because they had no choice. You know, the recruiters screwed them over, and they actually signed up to be like, you know, some other job like motor T or, you know, supply or logistics or something like that. And they ended up getting thrown into tanks because of needs of the Marine Corps. So the recruiters screwed them over, and they didn't even want that job to begin with. So I'm over here loving my job, surrounded by people that hate being there because this is not what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And they got screwed over, made my life difficult.
Right.
A little bit of friction. Was there a little bit of
Right.
friction from the guys that didn't like it, and then you loved it? And they're like, "Hey, man, why you like beaming?
Why are you liking things?
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare
be
you?
motivated? How dare you?" And yeah, I mean, I don't know. And they always like, it's like for some reason it was like cool to, you know, have an NJP and an Article 11 or Article 15. Like I never understood it. That part of the Marine Corps I never understood, because there is that part of the culture that's there where, because, you know, Jesse Puller was known for, you know, having his ass NJP like crazy. You know, he had like a crazy list of you know, punishments, you know, non-judicial punishments on his record. So there's like this weird culture where it's like cool to do that, but for me it was always a problem. It was like my whole world came crashing down if I ever got like less than perfect on anything. I was so critical of myself. I still am. You know, I'm still so critical of myself. So because of that, and because of that difference in mindset and perspective, I think caused a lot of friction for sure.
And do you think that's where like maybe some of the anxiety and stuff came in, that like that much pressure you put on yourself? You know, I'm assuming that would weigh on you a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's almost kind of like I do it to myself, and I hate that I do it to myself, but I can never recognize when I'm doing it to myself, you know?
Yeah, I understand that completely. I drive myself crazy trying to be a perfectionist in a lot of ways, and I drive these two crazy also trying to be a perfectionist in a lot of ways. But
well, there's nothing wrong with that. But
at the same time, I just try to elevate people too. You know,
are you,
Right.
Mike? Are you your own worst critic though? Because that's what happens in my life. You know what I mean? I critique everything I do also. So you being in the service, you critique that, then it moved off into when it went into acting. But so you're your own worst critic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am. And you know what, I was talking to my mom one time about, you know, how I was feeling, just so like I could never understand why I was so hard on myself. And then she admitted that she had also had these same issues where she's, you know,
Right.
critical of herself as well. And which has led me to believe that a lot of the, you know, mental capacities that we endure are hereditary. And knowing that, I feel like it's half the battle. But now it's like, how do you deal with that? You know, how do you deal with something that is essentially genetically passed down to you? You know, it's almost like you just got to learn to, I guess, learn to drive the curves, I guess.
But I also feel like those are some of the most creative people as well. Obviously, your mom is an entrepreneur, and then, you know, where you are today kind of thing. Do you think that creativity came from her too? Do you think that was genetic as well?
You know,
ways.
it's possible. I mean, her creativity came in the form of problem solving. For whatever reason, she just wanted to solve problems. So, you know, started out with hair products. So the problem being not being able to do certain hairstyles as easily as they wanted to. So she found a solution for it and monetized it. And, you know, so she's a creative in her own field, and I'm a creative in the way that I like to tell stories and, you know, portray characters.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. But, you know, let's get into now.
Can I ask you one question though?
Yeah, sure,
Matt?
absolutely.
Do you still have your tank license? Because
I actually do. Yes.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have my tank. I actually just got this really awesome challenge coin here in remember Second Tank Battalion. It's a coin of a M1A1 Abrams tank.
Oh, nice.
And that's the Second Tank Battalion seal on there. It says from December 20th, 1941 to May 5th, 2021, being the lifespan of Tank Battalion in the Marine Corps.
Sweet. I had to ask that because I always wanted to have a tank if I ever hit the Powerball.
But I also have.
Oh, gosh.
Hold on, you guys are going to lose your minds over this. Okay, so hang on one second. So
Sure.
This is a 50 cal, you know, that didn't discharge one
nice.
time while we were from gunnery. But that's not even the best part. Hang on. This massive
Geez.
mofo right here is essentially what's left of a tank round after it's fired.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow. I never seen that before, and we seen it here.
So you have these things, right? So this is just one piece. They come in 3 pieces. So this is what's left over from a sabo dart. So the dart, you know, is in here. This is the fin. So that's how that fires through the tube. You know, so how are you gonna fire, you know, a dart that's this big and a tube that's, you know, massive, right? So you have these fittings, they call them fins, that go on them. So after the round is fired, the air will come in here and break these away, leaving the dart as a projectile towards the target, essentially destroying the target. Those darts, by the way, the Sabo darts, are depleted uranium darts.
Oh, wow.
And they don't have any explosives in them. It purely goes off of like kinetic energy.
Really?
It just pierces the armor and sends shrapnel and all kinds of like sparks and everything like that inside of the tank of the target, basically killing everybody inside. So that's how that works. And so the only time it would explode is if you hit like their fuel source or their ammo compartment.
Wow.
Yeah. Did that ever affect you, knowing that you had that much power to do that? Or vice versa? I mean, being in that situation. You know,
having that much power just made me love my job even that much more. You know,
no doubt.
I mean, I don't know. Is profanity allowed on here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Because I'm gonna quote, you know, some things. And best job I ever had. Right, number 1. Number 2, you're basically driving around 70 tons of fuck you. You know. 120 millimeters of pure destruction, you know, with the 7.62 coax, a 50 cal for, you know, the tank commander, and another 7.62 machine gun for the loader. 500 gallons of fuel, drives up to 60 miles an hour, and it is just.
It's a bad mammer jammer.
Oh, it feels so good. But here's the thing.
Sure, it does.
For every hour of operation is 5 hours of maintenance.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not the fun side of
The
it.
maintenance
by all means.
of those tanks, it uses a jet turbine engine too, by the way. It
Really?
uses the same turbine engine that they put in the Cobras.
Wow.
So yeah, that was my jet instead. I got the land jet.
In my eyes, there's nothing wrong with that, Mike.
Nope.
No.
That's why I asked, Mike. That's why I had to ask if you still had a license.
Yeah.
So I
that's
have the
awesome.
license. It's in my keepsake somewhere.
So if you
but
could drive that, can you like drive anything?
I was also cross trained to drive the MRAP, the Mat V, and the Humvee as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I can drive basically anything. I feel like I've become a master at driving. I've already mastered that craft, so I'm ready to master a new craft now.
Nice.
Gotcha. So, I have down, and you probably already kind of alluded to this, but if you had to do this all over again, and we're going to get into acting and film and all that good stuff, but if you had to do this all over again, would you have just skipped that part of your life and go straight into acting and film, or is that something that you're extremely proud of and absolutely you would not skip?
I never get tired of the feeling that I get when I tell someone I used to drive a tank. I never get tired of that feeling.
Don't ever get tired of saying that.
I don't think I ever will. And
that's awesome.
Also, just having the knowledge too that I got to be a part of that is now historic, because tank battalions are no longer active in the Marine Corps.
Oh, really? Okay.
They disbanded it. That's why I got this coin, is in remembrance of that, because they disbanded tank battalions May 2021.
Okay, so it's just in other parts of the military, like Army and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, the Army still has their tanks. And I do believe that I saw an article, and I predicted this. As soon as I heard that they were doing this, I predicted that this was going to be the next step. A mobile armored unmanned tank.
I've heard that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can't remember the designation. It was like RCTX8 something. I don't know. But I saw that and I immediately knew. I was like, yeah, we got replaced by robots. Damn it.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, there's instinct, there's intuition that a person has, right? Like that a robot does not.
Right. I mean, there's still all right. So someone is still clearly to operate this thing. It's not completely automatic, right? So it's going to end up being like those drone situations. So on one hand, it's nice knowing that there is a reduced risk in loss of life for our armed forces, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also weird thinking about the direction of this, futuristic robotic warfare that we have.
Skynet. It's Skynet.
Right. I heard someone have a call sign as Skynet out in the field once, and Master Sergeant was all like, "Oh, great, where's Sarah Connor?" Stupid. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll ever get tired of that. I would do it all over again.
What's the statistics on that? I mean, you might not even know that. This might be a dumb question, but obviously the statistics are high for them to make that decision to pull, human operators out of the tank and put basically robots.
I'm not sure what the loss of
they don't have to pay
statistics were.
They don't have to pay any pensions.
Good point. Yeah,
and they don't have to, it's all
is recruitment down for the services, or
no? I don't think so. I don't really know. I mean, as of right now, right? Things are changing. We've withdrawn from Afghanistan, so and yet we're still based in other countries, and we also have the Korean threat still, or now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so
it's understandable. I understand what you're saying.
So do you keep up with a lot of this stuff that's going on now?
I do.
Yeah.
I unfortunately, I really wish that I didn't. I hate that I've turned into this person, but I feel like I have to pay attention now.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to, because there are things that are happening that are major red flags for me, that I could see things going in certain directions, and I would like to stay informed so that I could be prepared for whatever comes.
Yeah.
Understandable.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
Now, how many people, before we get to another topic,
Yeah.
before we get off the tank, how many people are in the tank as your squad, or how many would be there if you were I don't know all this offhand. Like,
you have four crew members to a tank. You have a driver,
Okay.
which was my primary function, was driving, the loader, and the gunner, and the tank commander. The tank commander is usually an NCO or above, so like a corporal or above. The loader and gunner are usually a corporal or a lance corporal, and the loader operates the radio as well as loading rounds into the main gun. The gunner is titled, he's the one that fires the main gun and the coax, and the driver drives the vehicle.
gotcha.
Okay. Well, the closest thing I've ever done to that was, Smuggler's Run at Disney World. So we're driving the Falcon, but yeah, that's crazy. That's amazing.
Have you seen the movie Fury?
I have. It's my favorite movie.
How excited were you when you found out they were finally making a movie?
I was super excited about it because there is an interesting history about tanks. Like tank warfare is something that I think is very much missed out on in history. We talk a lot about special forces, we talk a lot about D-Day, we talk a lot about the Air Force and the bombers and everything like that, but I haven't seen a whole lot of coverage in Hollywood, at least in Hollywood films, on tank warfare, because tank warfare was a huge huge step in war,
Especially in World War II.
Right. I mean, they were introduced in World War One, and they were found to be very effective. It totally changed everything. It changed how we do war. And so with German engineering being what it was at the time as well, and with us basically trying, playing catch up, for every Sherman, it was like, or for every Panzer, it was 3 to 5 Shermans. So for every Panzer kill, it was 3 to 5 of ours dead.
Yeah.
So we were outnumbered, outgunned, and out armored. And I feel like that history has missed out a lot. And so when they came out with Fury, not just the accuracy of how the tanks operate, but just the accuracy of how tough it was to maneuver and fire the tank, especially against something as advanced as a Panzer or a Tiger. So yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah,
that's your most favorite movie of all time.
I can't say that that's my favorite movie of all time. It's my favorite war movie of all time. I think.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, because one of my questions later on was, what was your favorite movie? And Caleb just killed the punchline. So,
that's what I'm here for.
So we'll have to pick a different movie when we get to that. But yeah, no, great question. But anyway, let's talk about the film and acting and all that stuff. So after you get discharged from the military, where are you at that point? And then, lead us in how you got into, I think acting was first.
So actually what happened was, when I was faced with being medically separated and going through that process, I was, in the barracks thinking, what the hell am I going to do? I didn't know what I was going to do. I was trying to think, I was like, I could basically go anywhere. I could have gone, anywhere I wanted. But it was so overwhelming that I ended up settling on, going back to my hometown in Tucson, Arizona, where I had, family and friends and people that I knew, to kind of fall back on a little bit and regroup myself. And so I went with that. It was a safe option. And took a desk job at a call center where I sold Verizon Fios, which was
I'm sorry, I did that too. That's why I feel yeah.
That's
awesome.
That job was amazing. I loved getting yelled at by customers at 6 a.m. It was amazing. You know, oh no, my bill is so high. I'm all, why is it so high? I'm like, I don't know. Did you read the bill?
Yeah.
Mike,
It
did you always
tells
put
you.
people on hold when they wanted to talk to management? Did you put
I
them on hold?
I had to, because my manager never wanted to take the damn call. So like it was really frustrating. It was really frustrating working in that. I was the best at it though. That's the sad part. You
Yeah.
know, I got really good at it. I mean, before I ended up joining the military, my mom being the entrepreneur that she was, ended up kind of creating a family business, if you will. And I helped operate and, run kiosks in our local mall at
Okay.
15 years old.
So you got the
Uh,
flair. You got the flair to talk. So you
Ye-
can make the sell. Do the
Right.
deal.
Right. So I was very good at what I did. I outsold the adult employees that worked for us. That's how good I was.
Wow.
That's
Um,
amazing.
so when I was working for Verizon, Verizon call center, I was good at it. I ended up winning like a 60-inch Vizio smart TV where and this was in like 2013, 2014. So there was
Oh,
still
that's
like,
right. That was pricey.
yeah, $1,200 TVs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The other prize that was up was like an Xbox One, and that bad boy had like just come out that year.
Yeah.
And I already had it, a 50-inch at home, and I was like, I really wanted the Xbox, and I almost ended up trading. Then I was like, no, it's a $1,200 TV. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So
Well, how was that? When you first get medically discharged and you're trying to figure out where you're going from a place that has, this intense structure like you're talking about that you enjoyed to just having it wide open. I mean, was did that make you anxious? Was that,
well, it kind of stuck with me still, a little bit after I got out. I still got up at like 4 a.m. like a madman.
yeah,
Um, and I still attempted to, do my, 2-mile runs every morning, do my whole routine, like the whole thing, recreate the whole thing just on my own without an NCO barking at me or anything.
yeah,
Eventually I think I kind of waned off of that. And I mean, I did struggle with sleeping a lot. And I don't know. I think I just kind of got a little bit complacent and then started getting lazy. And, now I'm not as on top of it as I probably should be. And sometimes I forget to, take care of myself certain days. So,
Hmm.
I don't know if that's a result of something else,
It happens to us all, Mike.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Any not to get off topic here, but was there any PTSD involved in that at all? Like did you struggle
uh,
with that at all?
in a way, yeah. I mean, I ended up getting diagnosed with what was it? Adjustment anxiety disorder.
Okay. So yeah, going back to what kind of Cable said there about, you have such structure and then it's just wide open.
Right. And it didn't help that, while I was I got moved around a lot, usually how I always imagined it, right, is like you go to boot camp, you go to your job school, then when you get your first duty station, that's it, that's your unit, that's your home kind of thing, right? That's how I always thought it went, at least. But when I got there, I was first with Echo Company, and then Echo Company disbanded. So then we were down to Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. I got moved over to Delta Company, and then Bravo Company got slated to deploy. So then they moved me to Bravo Company. And then even within Bravo Company, I went from being the company commander's driver to being medevac, lead medevac, and doing that training. And then when the roster came out for us when we were deploying, I was looking at the roster to see what, where I was, where I stood. and I couldn't find my name. And when I went to go talk to the CO, you know, I said, hey, you know, am I still driving for you? Am I doing like, what am I doing? And he was like, oh, you're just going to be an extra body. Don't worry, you're still going. I'm like, okay. And so I had no idea what I was doing. It wasn't until like I got to our AO that last minute that they're all like, you're with 3rd platoon now. And I was 3rd platoon commander's driver. And so yeah, it was just weird getting moved around a lot, like a trading card.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what created the adjustment anxiety, because of things just constantly changing and constantly trying to adapt. But I think I've overcome a lot of that now, and I'm in a bit of a better place. And now I'm just trying to focus on doing something that I enjoy and that I feel is meaningful with my life.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I mean, you know, you go from working at this call center, like how did this come about? Like how did, you know, getting into movies and
how did you get the acting bug? Did you ever do it when you were a kid?
So when I was in high school, I actually did acting all 4 years of high school.
Okay.
You know, I fell in love with it my freshman year. We did a school rendition of The Little Rascals, and I was Alfalfa.
That's awesome.
So ever since then, you know, I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. I just enjoyed it. It was just fun for me. And because I didn't think that it was a sustainable or, you know, career or a reasonable job to have or anything like that, or something that I could reasonably pursue, I, you know, went with my original military idea. So I stuck with that. But when I came back home after being discharged, I was in, you know, Arizona for about a year doing the desk job. They were about to put me up for promotion, and I was terrified that I was going to get stuck in this like boring corporate job doing sales and you know, doing this mundane routine that was just mind-numbingly boring. And, you know, day in, day out, getting up, you know, like 5 a.m. to go to work at 6 to, you know, get off at 3 to go home, drink my sleep, get up and do it all over again, you know?
Yeah.
And none of my friends were really doing anything either. So it was just, you know, boring. And I was talking to my mom. She was living in New Orleans for about 3 years at that time. And she was like, why don't you come out here? I know someone that can get you a job that does security on film and TV sets. And it's basically Hollywood South out here. You know, maybe this could be your chance to, you know, pursue acting. You know, you really enjoyed it in high school. This could be your shot. Stay with me. You know, we'll work it out. I'm like, all right, fuck it. And then I, you know, put everything in my little Honda Civic and drove cross country to New Orleans. And within a month, I got the security job, and I also got my first acting gig. It was a background job
in 1 month.
Wow.
And it was a background role on the Netflix production Zoo, which was an adaptation from the novel Zoo, which was about animals taking over the world because of some crazy virus or whatever. But okay. I was a prisoner in a prison scene for that one, and we used an actual working prison. And you know, when I first got the job too, I was actually skeptical, because, you know, when you're looking for acting jobs, you see a lot of scams out there, right? You know, you see these scam casting calls that are really more for, you know, black casting couch.
Wow. Oh my.
Nice.
That's not the acting that I'm after. So
right. Wow. Exactly.
So it was, I had to be careful. And I did get approached for some of those jobs too when I was putting out my headshots on Craigslist and shit. It was stupid. And I found it off of a website called My Casting File, which is a free site. They allow you to upload one headshot, one full body, a little bit about yourself, and like your height, weight, basic details and stuff like that. If you pay like $24 a year, you can add more stuff to it. That puts you kind of like at the head of the line. So I went with the premium option, $24 a year. That's
That's a steal.
No
Stupid.
brainer. Yeah.
No brainer. So I did that, and that's what landed me that Netflix job. And I didn't get any camera time or anything like that, but just having that experience on set and seeing everything behind the scenes in person for the first time, it's I don't even know how to like describe it. It's like going to Disneyland for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
How many
know?
times, Mike, did you do the scene that you were doing? Probably what? 20 million times.
Yeah, like at least 10 times, 10, 15 times at least, because we're also working with animals.
Yeah.
They had live animals on
yeah.
the set that day.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was dire wolves, actually, the same dire wolves that were used on Game of Thrones.
Really? Oh,
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see. I was like, oh, I love Game of Thrones. So, and those dogs were massive, or those wolves were massive.
Yeah.
And I was inside a prison cell, like watching them from a prison window, like just going back and forth. I'm like, oh, this is terrifying. I feel like I'm, because in the scene they have the doors open up and then the wolves attack everybody in their cells is how the rest of that scene is supposed to go. So I was definitely getting that vibe from those wolves circling the main area in front of the cells and everything, like sharks.
So it wasn't even acting at that point. That was just reacting. You know what I mean? Like,
that was realism.
But you said you didn't get any screen time. So how did that launch you into the next gig? If nobody saw you, just kept applying, or?
Yeah, I just kept putting it out there. I just kept going because like after I got that first one, I was like, okay, this is legit. This is plausible. This is attainable.
You were networking, weren't you?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I was making friends and I had a good time. I had a good time. It was fun. It was very chill. They feed you on set. They got snacks, and you chill in between scenes and like hang out, play cards or whatever if you got time for it. Smoke them if you got them. And I was like, this is awesome. I couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life. So I had to keep going. So I kept putting it out there, and then I got on to things like NCIS New Orleans, and then I got on to Screen Queens, and then I got
any screen time there in those.
Oh yeah, NCIS New Orleans. Yeah, I got screen time there.
Okay.
I also got screen time on the remake of Roots.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I also got screen time on Screen Queens.
Yeah, we know that one.
You got
how much time do you have to get accredited for these roles to actually get paid as a speaking role? How much words do you have to say?
I am not 100% sure about that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It varies, on the production as well, and what their budget is.
Okay.
Also, if you're like union or non-union, like there's a bunch of factors that play into it.
So were you ever not credited for any of those roles then? Like,
no, I haven't been officially accredited for any of them, unfortunately. Because,
really? Not even Queen of the South?
No, not even Queen of the, I actually had to fight IMDb on that one too, and they're like, there's no on-screen credit, meaning like I don't have my name on the screen crediting me for the role.
Well, you're a character on a major TV show.
Yeah, you would think that it would be there, but it's not there, unfortunately. Wow. I don't know how that works. Maybe they got away with it because it's non-speaking. I don't know. But obviously there isn't much I can do about it.
Right.
It's done. It is what it is. But they said that because that wasn't there, they couldn't give me the credit for it. But once I have like an official on-screen credit is when all the rest of the other credits that I have on there
will line up.
All the background ones will pop up on there, apparently.
Okay.
Is how it works, I guess.
Huh, that's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really weird. It actually really irritated me. I was like, what the hell? Like, I got that, like, you can see me, you can see my, what do I have to send you? My
Yeah.
ID, like,
Right. So from the moment you step foot on the casting for the zoo, right?
Mhm.
Is that when it's like you said that was your epiphany, like, I got to do this. So, you did all these acting roles and then you're like, I need to go back to school. I need to be a filmmaker? How did that work?
So, all right. So I was living in New Orleans from 2015 to 2016. I was with my baby mama and 2 children at that time.
Mhm.
She was my fiance at that time. And we ended up moving back to Arizona because there was a shooting at right in front of the frozen yogurt shop that she was working at downtown
Oh no.
in like broad
Oh.
daylight. So
Time to go home.
because that was like a little too close to home,
Yeah.
she was like, let's go back where I know I'm not gonna get shot.
Yeah, right.
And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, that's fair. And I couldn't, like, put their safety over my dream. So
Yeah.
Right.
it just didn't seem right for me to do.
Mhm.
And I love my family. I want to keep them safe. So we moved back to Arizona. And things went wrong. Ended up splitting up, and we're not together anymore. The girls stay with her, and I was kind of stuck back in Arizona and had to start all over again. And
No production in Arizona. Nothing
no,
like doing
there.
nothing.
What's making me mad though is that J.J. Abrams is now filming some sci-fi western out there now in Tucson. In
Oh, no
Tucson.
way.
That would piss me off.
He just started that this year, I guess, and I'm just like, are you kidding? I moved all the way out here, and
Yeah.
it came to if I had just waited a few more years, that was a nice kick in the groin.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're in Arizona at that time, and you said there was not much going on. So
Yeah, there wasn't much going on, but and I was starting over with my life, and I was trying to find a new job and everything like that. Like, I had lost my job. I went through, like, spiraled like really, really bad. And I was staying with my dad until I could, get back on my feet. I got another desk job, just to, like, support myself again, pay all my bills and pay child support and stuff like that. And after about a couple years, I want to say in like 2018, I came across an ad for the Los Angeles Film School on social media. And they advertised that they were, VA friendly, GI Bill friendly, and all that stuff. And, I looked them up, I researched them. They were like, part of the top, like 10, top 15. I don't know. They're like the top filmmaking schools in the country. A lot of alumni have gone on to work on, like, Marvel and Disney. And Michael Newcheck, I don't know if you know who he is, the guy that does Workaholics.
oh,
He's
okay,
a-
yeah.
He's a LAFS alumni. He graduated from the Los Angeles Film School. So, having that kind of credibility was like, all right, yeah, get a bachelor's degree of science instead of a liberal arts degree, sounds a lot better.
Mhm.
And it's a 3-year program. They give you the equipment and everything that you need. So I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. I can make my own movies and, learn more about the craft and, really figure out what I want to do in the industry. And if acting is really what I want to do, if there's something else I might enjoy more.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, from 2018 until September of this year, I did that and just graduated.
So it was good. It was good to get all that out of the way due to the COVID, so you can actually put it into your studies, because it was probably hard to get any type of anything going due to COVID.
Right,
might as well-
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I ended up enrolling in 2018, which was like a year before COVID. And what's funny is I got a job at Amazon. I was working at the Amazon warehouse out in Tucson, and I put myself up for a supervisor position for the logistics station out here in New Orleans, so that I could, basically have a reason to come back here and have a foothold again, and move back in to the duplex that my mom bought. So I live on one side, and there's another tenant that lives on the other side, and I rent from her. And then, so I made that transition right as COVID became an official pandemic, and everything locked down.
Oh man.
On my way here. On my way here, everything shut down. Everything was done for.
That's
But
a screenplay for a movie right now.
Yeah, but I still had work. Luckily Amazon was still in operation.
Oh, they were busier than ever, I'm sure.
They were the only ones that were still in operation, and working during that time too was no picnic.
No, it was not.
Processing all those packages, and we had to do it out of a temporary site too, out of a carnival site. And of course, also all of film production was shut down for like almost like a year,
right?
Anything open back up.
Well, what about school? What about your school? Was it shut down, or was it online? Like how did that work?
Well, I was doing all my classes online, so that still continued, and I still,
that's good.
Had time for that, and was able to get my work done. And when I got Flacco was basically the first role that I got since my return to New Orleans, and that was my break back into the industry.
Okay.
And how did you get that, Mike? Did you just put some stuff out, or did you network, or?
So that came from my favorite site, my casting file. Actually, I got an availability request for this role, and I actually didn't respond right away. I kind of slept on it for a second and almost didn't submit because they were looking for a tall, lanky, Sicario looking kind of guy. And I was like, I know they send those availability requests to people that match the description, but sometimes they get it wrong. And I was like, I don't know if you got me on this one. And then next day I was like, whatever, say is never mind or no, And I don't even remember why. I think I was just like really depressed and fed up from the pandemic. I was just like, whatever, I won't. Something will probably end up taking it down anyways, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Very pessimistic. And yeah, then next thing you know, a couple days later, I get a phone call, and it's the casting office, and they're like, "Hey, that role that you submitted for Flacco?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, yeah, they want you to audition. Audition for a background role? Like, yeah. There's no lines or anything, but yeah, they want to like camera test you. I'm like, huh.
Now, could it have been recurring though after the fact that you did it?
And that's what I was like, okay. So what you're saying is there's a chance. And it's just like, I can't say anything, but yes, there's a chance. And I was like, all right. And they're like, we're gonna send you the sides, and then just come into the office on this day. And I was like, all right, cool, dope. And then I got the sides, and I was like super excited, and I took it like super seriously. And I was like, doing practicing my facial expressions and my looks in the mirror, because I'm like, if this is nonverbal, I have to talk with my face somehow.
Right, look the part, look intimidating, right?
Right. And I was like, I could do this. I've been charged with intimidation and threat before. Like, this is easy.
Yeah.
True story. I actually have been charged with intimidation and threat. So
it's perfect role for you.
Yeah, and so I go in that office. It's Caballero Casting or Caballero Casting. I don't know how it's pronounced exactly. But Caballero Casting, I think. And I go in, and I meet the casting director, and it's just him. And we run it through a couple times, like twice. He said he wanted me sitting first just to get a couple looks of me sitting. And he was like, all right, and then we'll do a couple of you standing. I was like, all right, cool. And then so we only did like a couple of looks, like 2 or 3 times of me sitting. And he's like, that's great, perfect. That's all we need. We'll be in touch. I was like, you don't need the stands. Oh, I totally even forgot. No, we're good. We got what we need. Yeah. And she's like, you're perfect. I was like, oh, okay, awesome. And it's like, and we might be giving you lines, so be prepared. I was like, I'd be honored, thrilled if you gave me lines, please,
Right.
please do.
Yeah.
They ended up deciding against it, but yeah, that was really exciting for me. I actually ended up letting out like a Ric Flair in the elevator while I was on my
So
way
you
down.
got it right off the bat. Like you didn't even make it home and have to wait for a call. Like they said, it's yours right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I later found out that I was the only one they auditioned. Everybody loved my audition. And when I got on set, I got to work with Hemke Madera and Molly Burnett. Molly Burnett started out in soap operas like Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
Hemke's been in a whole bunch of things. He was also in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah, he was a cool guy, and that was a fun role to play too. The Intimidator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you run into Nikki Bella at all? I know she played on that. I don't know. It was probably a brief thing, but no.
No, I only worked with Alice, Hemke, and Molly. Those were the 3 that I worked with primarily.
Gotcha. So how many episodes did you end up in?
I was in 2 episodes, 3 scenes.
Okay.
And that show's still going on, isn't it, Mike? Is it still going on? Or
final seasons?
The 5th season is the final season, and it just ended. So
so they couldn't bring you back for
no flacos, no mas.
Okay.
Well, now it's time for a spinoff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We need a Flacco story.
So, but all this time you were still in school while we're recording that, or?
Yes, I was still in school doing that. And yeah, so I was doing all of it. I was working full-time security. I was doing background acting, and I was going to school.
Oh, wow.
You know, when you want it, you find a way.
Yeah.
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 Well, your story reminds me, not exact one-on-one comparison, but you ever see the show Barry?
Yes.
See, that's
I love Barry.
similar. A lot of similarities there.
Barry is my guy, except I'm not an assassin or a merc. So
yeah. Well, you wouldn't say if you were anyway, though. Right?
No,
you can't say.
But you could drive a
wouldn't be able
tank,
to
man.
do
You could drive a tank.
I could drive
Right.
a tank for sure.
So Mike, is there any stuff that you put out that you applied for that's upcoming that you're trying to hopefully get throw the fishing line out and get a snag?
No, I haven't. I've been trying to find a way to get auditions, and it's proving difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, not to mention, you have to. It really is a luck of the draw because it depends on what they're looking for.
Right.
Because right now, I'm seeing a lot of calls for okay, so there's this one production that's coming out right now called Queer as Folk.
Okay.
And the title speaks for itself.
Yeah. Right.
They're looking for a lot of muscled Adonises and go-go dancers. And I was getting availability requests, and I was like, no, you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
You got the wrong
Not something
guy.
you're interested in.
It's not that I'm not interested in. It's just that I would not fit the bill. One, I have tattoos.
Right.
So I can't do like shirtless stuff.
Yeah.
Unless I, spend like a ridiculous amount of money on makeup to cover it all up.
Well, they do that all the time, like covering the Dwayne Johnson tattoos.
But it's a big thing to have a tattoo, though.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I don't.
Something
Macho
or something.
You know what it is? It's a proprietary thing, so it's a copyright thing.
Gotcha.
Because it's art, even though it's on flash paper, like even the flash tattoos, like the star on my arm, it's also about the look that the director is going for as well.
Okay.
So that's really what it comes down to is copyright and the look that the director is going for.
And it's got to
Yeah.
be all what the director wants, though.
I mean, because like you're not gonna have like someone with tattoos in like a 1950s era film, you know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have someone with tattoos and like a romantic comedy type of film,
No.
you know.
Yeah, you
unless
got to
he's
hit the aesthetic.
right.
So you're going to
and-
be like in the Mayans and Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or
The
some
horror
kinda,
movies too, like
yeah, The
Right.
Wire kind of
which
stuff.
sucks because that's being stereotypical, but you know,
Cop
I don't know, maybe-
shows.
Right. And so yeah, I mean, you gotta find so when you're looking for auditions, you know, you gotta watch out for one, you have to watch out for scam productions because they are out there. Two, you have to find the things that are like, you know, matching your description. Like obviously I can't exactly play an 18-year-old anymore. I definitely look like I'm in my early 20s, even though I'm 29. You know, so like I wouldn't be able to play a 15-year-old, you know, that's another thing. I wouldn't be able to play a woman. I wouldn't be able to play, you know, like that's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's slim is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
I'm still putting it out there, still working on trying to make some stuff happen and changing how I do my day-to-day life so that I can actually make content of my own.
Now, which interests you more, the acting route or the creating route?
That's a good question because I have ideas. You know, I am currently working on a screenplay for all genre type film. That's sea based, and based around the Bermuda Triangle. And I'm wanting to go that route because you know you have a lot of like slasher films and cabin in the wood type films and stuff like that. But my biggest fear is the ocean, and
Yeah.
I wanted to explore that and exploit that.
Yeah.
And
That's
you know, I
interesting.
have like ideas for you know, some web series comedies, some military style comedies. But I'm trying to be careful because Vet TV came about, and they have a lot of great skits, and I definitely want to make sure that I don't step on any toes and do anything that they've already done. So
Yeah.
and they're pretty on it right now. So
Yeah.
Would a comedy, like a military comedy, offend? You know,
no, it wouldn't. I mean, military comedies can be offensive for sure.
I mean,
but,
to them, not me, obviously.
oh
but
no,
like,
not to that. I think I'm just like I just want to be careful that I'm not like plagiarizing anybody's work. you
yeah,
know?
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That's
what I'm getting.
that's your biggest thing you have to worry about right there when you're
Right,
doing
yeah.
the comedy stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because nobody likes someone that steals someone's jokes.
yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. Right.
No.
Right.
Have you, Mike, actually written anything that different type? I mean, do you have different types of genres that you write, especially when you said the water and that, and maybe some military? But those are the only two that you're doing.
Those are the only two that I have in my back pocket right now that I've worked on this past year. I'm reworking on my series idea that I'm titling Battle Buddies. I'm kind of wanting to go in like the direction of like how Battlefield Friends was, like that type of humor. But in like real life areas and stuff like that with some
Gotcha.
personal experiences. But
So what is your favorite genre then? So whichever genre to watch, which are, you know, that kind of stuff.
my favorite genre to watch, I think, would have to be comedy.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of comedy, but I mean, I don't discriminate. You know, I like all types of films. You know, I'll watch documentaries, I'll watch dramas, romantic comedies. You know, also known as chick flicks. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, I'm not ashamed either.
Hey, if it's good, it's
hey,
good. It doesn't
you know,
matter what it is.
And you know, like Kate and Leopold, forget about it. Like, you know, I like horror movies, thriller movies. Like, I like them all, but I think if I had a go-to genre, it would have to be comedy.
Okay.
Now, is there anybody like a filmmaker or creator that you kind of envision yourself going in the same vein of like, is there anybody that to influence you feel more than others, or you just want to be, completely your own original?
I want to be my own original because I was watching Dark Shadows for the first time yesterday. I know it's been out for a while, but it was Johnny Depp, and it was like a vampire movie, and it was during a time where vampires were like super hype and everything like that. I just didn't want anything to do with another vampire movie, right? So I didn't watch it then, but I watched it yesterday. And I didn't know much about the movie or anything, but when I put it on, I could recognize almost right away that it was a Tim Burton film from the aesthetic and everything.
Yeah.
I was all like, does Tim Burton make this? My girlfriend looked it up. She's like, oh yeah, it is Tim Burton. That was a good eye. I was like, I'm getting an affinity for being able to tell.
So are you watching the movies just for the entertainment now, or are you watching it to gain knowledge of how you would want to do stuff when you create?
Well, I watch it for the entertainment, and what I learned from it is kind of just more of a cherry on top, if you will. Because what I'll do is, I'll watch it from an audience perspective, from just a consumer perspective, really, and just try to like enjoy the film without an analytical eye, trying to, right? But every now and again, I'll catch something that maybe not everybody will notice. I'm like, oh, that kind of like took me out of the moment for a minute, but it's not all the time. And then I might watch it like a second time, or I'll just analyze after I've watched the movie, and reflect back on it. What did I learn from that? What did I feel like the audience liked and didn't like about it, and just kind of like learning it from that perspective. But having being able to like know that that's a Tim Burton film, or I know what a Quentin Tarantino film looks like. I know what a Martin Scorsese film looks like. I know what a Spielberg film looks like, and I want to be able to have that same effect where people look at that and be like, that's a Michael Lloyd film.
Yeah. There you go.
So is it hard for you to sit back and watch it from a fan's perspective whenever you're kind of, neck deep into this stuff? Or, because oftentimes I feel like, some people have, just being fans are too critical, and they kind of criticize things without knowing the background knowledge, right? So for you, as somebody that kind of does know the ins and outs and been in the business, what's that like for you?
I feel like I give a lot more margin for error now. Knowing what I know, because how difficult it is to achieve certain things, and when you know how difficult it is, you're a little less critical. So now what I really harp on, what isn't something that what I don't know what the word is I'm looking for right now. It totally escaped my mind. There's that ADD thing again. Wow. Weird. Anyways, what was I saying?
We were talking about how you look at it from a lens of somebody that's been in the business, and there's
more margin for
margin for error, right? So when you know how difficult something is, you become less critical. But the story is the thing that I have become most critical of now. Because that's really like the meat of it, is how was the story told? Was this dialogue really necessary? Did it really move the story forward? The arc of characters, the development of the subplot, and things like that is really what I get into, and less of the technical aspect, which is what most consumers do, because that's about as much as they comprehend in some cases.
Right.
So when you do the acting part, what actors do you try to look at and try to gain when you try to emulate or try to persevere through their eyes, you know what I mean, and try to act? What guys?
One thing that I take note of from actors is how they approach taking on the roles that they have. Like for example, Leonardo Dicaprio with What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He spent time with special needs children, and in that type of environment, mannerisms and things like that, in order to portray Gilbert Grape.
Right.
And same thing with his Wolf of Wall Street, an impression of Jordan Belfort. He spent time with Jordan Belfort for quite some time, learning his mannerisms, how he talked, all the stories, what was true, what wasn't true, and all those other things, so that he could portray the character correctly. And it's that type of method acting where you have a devotion to learning a certain character, and portraying realistic characters is worthy of a respect that I think not a lot of people have anymore.
Yeah. Johnny Depp was notorious for that too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Really indulging himself in that role and kind of getting into the character. So while we're kind of talking about like actors and stuff like that, who would be your favorite actor or actress?
Great question. I've been a big fan of Adam Driver lately, and his upcoming story as well.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys know this. Apparently, not everyone.
He was in
knows
the he was in the service.
He was a Marine as well.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
He was an infantryman. So I can relate with him a lot on his journey. So I admire him for that. I also admire Keanu Reeves for remaining the person that he is in spite of his growing fame and fortune. And I also admire Leonardo Dicaprio for persevering for as long as he has without getting the recognition that he deserves and that he deserved, with the many Oscars that he should have won and the multitude of films that he's played, and still remaining uncalloused to it,
right.
And so I have a list. Like it's almost like I can't just pick one.
Right.
What about a director? Anybody?
Again, my affinity for film is just wide. It's so hard for me because I love it all, and it's really hard to pick your favorite at all. And I mentioned a few of my favorites, right? Spielberg and Tarantino and Scorsese and Tim Burton, and I admire them for being able to have their signature in film. And it's hard. It's hard for me to say.
Maybe not having an answer for that can make you, because you can vast all the knowledge of everybody in Hollywood, and it would gain stuff for you in the long run when you're trying to get into acting and making your own stuff. Maybe.
Right. I mean, I'm hoping that that would help me in not having too heavy of an influence of one, director
pigeonholed
over another. Yeah.
What about movie? Do you have a favorite movie?
A favorite movie? Well, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, so
there we go. Yeah.
All Star Wars films, I love them.
Which is your best one?
Rogue One. I have to go.
There
with
you go.
Rogue One.
Okay,
Rogue One is good.
By far.
I love that
one
answer.
of my favorites.
Now, is it Mike? Because the last 10 minutes when Darth Vader can actually beat Darth Vader.
Yes, that, and also K2SO is by far one of my favorite droids.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was good.
Great answer.
Alan Tudyk did another fantastic job.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on? And this goes back to people being too critical. But what are your thoughts on the other Disney? Star Wars?
I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to pass the torch to new characters and create a new story. They botched it because they fumbled the directors and they had clashing visions. And that's what happens when you bring in multiple directors to complete a saga. You get conflicting storylines and a confused audience. So it was, and they were supposed to go in the direction of Rey being a gray Jedi. She wasn't supposed to be a Skywalker.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that pissed me off too, was how dare she claim the name Skywalker.
Yeah, I was
No.
unhappy at the end of that movie too.
No, I'm sorry. With
Yeah.
all due respect, no.
Because out of everybody in
Yeah.
this panel, I'm the only one to see the original one because I'm that old.
Oh,
So, I mean, at that time in the 70s. But yeah,
yeah.
that was
I
my
would-
first movie ever.
So,
I
Mike,
would change that time.
why do they jump to directors like that? Like, why, George obviously had his hand on everything with the originals, right? But why do they do that now? Even with the
So-
Marvel stuff, like,
George had already so when you understand the story of Star Wars, Star Wars was originally one movie, but it was like 500 pages long.
yeah, right.
And it couldn't be just one movie, so he had to break it up, and it became a 3-part. And that's when he decided to go into afterwards, after the success of the original trilogy, was when he went into the prelogue or the prologue excuse me, and the prequels, that's what they're called. And not to mention the technology that was available to him at that time, I think was also very innovative. He was innovative with THX, so without Star Wars, we wouldn't have a lot of the special effects that we have today, because they kind of paved the way for that. They had to create a whole lot of new things for that movie. And so he had it all written already. With the sequels, the new sequels that were happening, I'm not sure if those were, I don't think that those were George Lucas originally written scripts. I believe that was someone else. I didn't look it up. I haven't looked it up because I'm still processing.
Right.
But it happened because there was a conflict of creative decision as well as money. And money is probably one of the biggest things that causes this kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
And is usually the primary and only cause, because he wasn't getting paid what he thought he should have been paid, or what have you.
Well, Star Wars went corporate when he sold it all to Disney, and I believe he didn't like how Skywalker with Luke. I don't think he liked how it ended, and that's why he's back in a little bit of consulting now.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I've seen like a few stories on it, and the story that I saw about the jumping of directors was there was a conflict during negotiations between JJ and Disney, and that's why they brought in, what was that, Josh Whedon?
No, he did Knives Out.
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah,
Right.
Ryan Johnson, that's right. That's when they brought in Ryan Johnson to do The Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
No, he did the second one.
Uh,
Rise of Skywalker, they brought back JJ for. Why am I blanking on what the second one was?
That was the second one.
Because it wasn't that good. That's why.
It was Force Awakens.
yes.
I have it over here.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Mhm.
Or is it
Yeah.
Last Jedi, then Rise of Skywalker?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Last Jedi, then Rise of Skywalker.
Okay. Yeah.
And that
So yeah.
Bubba brought it up. I didn't like, Last Jedi for a while. And now I think it might be my favorite out of the new trilogy.
I know I tried looking at it with a new perspective too. I mean, because I have all the movies, right? So I revisit them every now and again and try to like give it another shot. But there are just some things that just bother me that I feel like were just missed opportunities. And
if it wasn't for the Mandalorian, these three movies would just be whatever, and it wouldn't.
The Death Note and the Star Wars franchise.
That's just my opinion.
Did you guys see the new Boba Fett trailer that just dropped?
Yes. Yeah. Cable sent that out to us just the other day, and immediately I was in the middle of a meeting and I just couldn't wait to get off the damn call so I could watch it. But yeah, no, it looks great. It looks great.
Super excited.
What are your thoughts on the Mandalorian?
I love The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's great. It's a fantastic standalone series, that takes place that isn't, Jedi focused.
Right.
I like the non-Jedi focused Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's a nice break and
But it gave you
refresher
hope,
from
Mike.
it.
Didn't it give you like hope and aspirations of Star Wars being something? I mean,
Well,
because I'm
that's
old
because-
school.
That's because you had Jon Favreau, who
Exactly.
is a huge Star Wars nerd.
Yep.
So he was a fan. He was a fan that made a fan film the right way. So
And
that's
Maloney,
Yeah.
Dave Filoni, yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
also super excited to hear that Ahsoka Tano is being recompanied by Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good. It's worth staying home on a Friday night for me.
And also, chef's kiss to the casting for Ahsoka as well.
Yep. I can't think of anybody better.
She's phenomenal. She's she was a linchpin in all that Netflix series, Rosie Dawson. She was a
hint
linchpin.
about Thrawn. Do you think they're gonna bring Thrawn in? Because they hinted at it. They hinted at it.
Yeah, I think we'll see him.
He's coming, and you're gonna see Bridger too.
I definitely think we'll see him. What are your thoughts on the next trilogy that they are going to release? Was it Knights of the Republic? Or no, the Old Republic. Old Republic.
Oh, the Old Republic.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a new story that's not a part of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get a break from that and to explore the rest of the Star Wars universe. I think they're definitely expanding, which is a nice breakaway. With things like Boba Fett and Mandalorian and the Old Republic. I haven't heard much about it. To be honest with you, actually, this is the first I'm hearing about it, so I can't give an opinion.
Okay, but I'm excited to see characters like Bane and some other ones that have that were in the books, and even the games, I believe as well. They're going to bring them to life and bring them to the screen. So
I think I vaguely remember hearing like an adaptation, a movie or a TV show adaptation of the Knights of Old Republic. I think I remember hearing about
this right here. This is the bounty hunter stuff. Anything Star Wars right now in the comic books and Marvel is very, very huge. And it's incorporated with the movies and the TV show. So everything is incorporated now, which you hardly ever saw.
It's like Marvel, the whole universe. You know what I mean? They're incorporating comics.
I
and
still
movies.
can't get over that Darth Vader is now a Disney villain.
Yeah.
That's true. Do you think it was a bad move, Mike?
No, I think George did what he needed to do. I don't blame him or anything like that. I definitely think that Disney is becoming a conglomerate monster.
Yeah.
Of media.
But Disney or not, Star Wars is in the right hands with Favreau and Filoni. So I think it's headed in the right direction.
I think so too. I think they'll get it. I definitely think that there's just creative conflict and that sequel trilogy between JJ and Rian Johnson. There definitely was, at least. I mean, because JJ came back and he's like, all right, I need to fix this now.
Yeah, they were just undoing whatever each other had done.
Yeah.
Well, he did Star Trek and he did Star Wars. You got to pick one in my eyes. You can't try to do both.
I was disappointed in their lightsaber battles. Their lightsaber combat was pretty lame. I mean, you had Yoda jumping around doing aerobics, around freaking Dooku, and we got these like broadsword giants swinging slow swing lightsaber fights between Rey and. I know that Rey is not an experienced lightsaber fighter, but you saw. I mean, she's been practicing for a minute.
Yeah,
she's been practicing for a minute.
Well, she was enough to be a Jedi, right?
At least.
So we've been talking. We've been talking about this for. So if you got a phone call tomorrow and like, Mr. Michael Phillips, we want to see your stuff because we have a new Star. We have a new Star Wars thing coming for you. And
I
I think
would.
he'd turn it down, Bubba.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably say no.
Yeah, he's like, no, I got to do
no,
the Triple
no.
B Experience podcast. I don't got time for that. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I got better things to do than a Star Wars movie. Come on, man.
Right.
No, I would love it. I mean, I would have to get a passport because they never film in the US. You know, they always film in like New Zealand or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would kill to be in a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
I mean,
Would that be like a moonshot for you? Like something?
I would, even if I was one of the stormtroopers that got killed off like horrendously off camera or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, like you would not see my face and you would never know that it was me there, but just having been able to wear it would be awesome, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of celebrities that, you know, like Daniel Craig, he was a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens, and I don't know if they ever did confirm which one he was.
I thought he was the prison guard, the one that released Rey. I
think so, but I don't know if if that was ever confirmed or if I just didn't hear it confirmed. But that was the rumor I heard.
I know that Simon Pegg was the nasty alien vendor.
Yeah, trading credits. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
alien.
What would be your favorite Star Wars character?
Ooh, my favorite character. Gotta go with Solo. I have to go with Solo. No, nice. I even like the standalone one. I know that a lot of people gave it hate and they didn't like it, but I actually liked it.
I liked it too.
I thought it was a nice, you know what it was to me? It was a nice sci-fi Western. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a sci-fi Western. And I don't know why a lot of people didn't like that, but I thought that was really cool.
I mean, that's the roots of Star Wars. That's where it all started.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, George had an affinity for spaghetti westerns, I believe. And there was, and you know what's also funny to me is Star Wars Visions that came out. Have you guys seen those?
I have not yet.
I have.
Phenomenal.
But I'm not into Japanese stuff, but it's a little, every episode is very different.
Every episode is very different, a very different story. If you're into anime, you'll really love it. If you're not in anime, you'll probably think it's okay. But I thought it was really awesome. And what was surprising to me though later on was how everybody was complaining, I don't like all the Japanese influences. It's like I'm sorry, but if you enjoyed any of the original Star Wars movies,
Japanese
it was
influence.
all Japanese influence, samurai influenced.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, let me ask you another question, Mike. The last 4 episodes, since we're on the Star Wars kick, the last 4 episodes of the last season of the Clone Wars. Now, do you think that was the best animated in the last 4 episodes when she's on the ship and everybody goes gets the
66.
66 and she has to help Rex and Vader at the end? Like that was
emotional for me, actually. I got very emotional during that whole.
I thought that was better than the last Star Wars movie.
It's just you know what? You know why I got emotional is because that's the effect of good storytelling.
Yep.
That's what that is. It's not because it's a cartoon. It's because that's the effect. You can, if you walk in on a man crying during a cartoon, okay, do not judge that man.
No.
He just experienced a good freaking story. Okay,
Right.
Let him feel his feelings.
I'm with you.
Because that's exactly what it was. It was amazing storytelling. I felt for Ahsoka. I felt the betrayal. I felt all of it. Like it was just heavy. And I loved the Bad Batch as well. That followed up after that.
Great
Phenomenal.
series. Great series.
I can't get enough of it. I'm sad that it's like.
Well, they said they announced there's going to be a second
season 2.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's going to be a minute though.
Yeah, it will. It'll take some time, for sure. But no, I'm sure we could talk to you about Star Wars all day long. Yeah. So, you guys have any more questions before we get into our rapid fire stuff?
No, I'm out of questions because I already fucked up like 10 minutes ago. So I'm good. I can't read because I don't have my glasses on. That's my excuse.
No.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh no. Excuses.
But anyway, we have some questions we like to ask everybody that comes on. They're just kind of rapid fire fun questions. Some are more serious, some are fun. We just, so before we get off here and wrap it up, if you don't mind, we ask you some of these questions.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. Name one thing that's always in your refrigerator.
Ketchup.
Ketchup. Well, that makes sense.
What kind of ketchup?
Uh-oh.
See, there you go. Ding, ding, ding. He wins. He said Heinz.
Okay.
We're from Pittsburgh, as if you couldn't tell, right? Yeah. Yeah. So Heinz it is. Good man. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Okay.
Nice.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
So that I could just disappear whenever I need to and just get away from everybody.
Good
It
answer.
helps with the assassin gig that he can't tell us about.
Yeah. And then nobody could call him Michael Phillips either.
Oh no, I red
Yeah.
flagged myself.
If you could get only one opportunity to play a role in a movie, or a TV show, what would that be? What movie or show?
Oh wow, that's a great question. Obviously, any Star Wars movie, any movie with Ryan Reynolds, any movie with Keanu Reeves, really just anything, to be honest with you. But I can't think of like a specific one right now. No.
This isn't on my list of questions here, but are you stoked on the new Matrix or no?
I'm actually pretty excited. His struggle with reality is something I can definitely empathize with. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the most influential person in your career? Personally, or maybe like we said, a director, anybody.
So I'm actually I have a little bit of a legacy here for you. I don't know if y'all know who Victor Moore is, but Victor Moore was an actor during the silent film of the talkies. He was there during like Marilyn Monroe era.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's known for like the 7-Year Itch, True to Life, I'm sorry, Swing Time, and those types of movies. And he even has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, nice.
So I actually have one of his like original movie posters and everything like that staring at me right now. Just kind of like reminding me that, he was able to make the transition from silent film to talkies, which was almost impossible during that time because not many people know this, but when actors would transition from silent film to film with sound and the audience would hear their voice for the very first time, a lot of them were actually rejected by their audiences because they sounded terribly on film. So they ended up not making it and not thriving through that transition, through that evolution in film, whereas he did. So that kind of endurance is something that inspires me, and also having it be so attainable and having so much achieved is another thing that motivates me as well.
Okay. Good answer.
Yeah, I like that answer.
If you could have one theme song to describe your life, what would it be?
Oh, wow. I have never thought of this question ever in my entire life. A theme song to describe my life?
Yeah, or did you have a band or a song that, really hit you?
One by Metallica.
Okay.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you like metal?
The heavy. You like the heavy
stuff?
stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, Metallica was One by Metallica was like one of the first songs I learned on guitar. And
then the army background and everything with that song and the story.
Yeah, having that Marine Corps experience as well, is definitely relatable for me. I mean, I don't really know if I have a theme song that would accurately describe my life because my life is a unique thing that really just doesn't fit in like one box, You'd
have you'd have more than one song, Mike.
Right. Yeah. I would have so many. It would just be a montage of
greatest
hits.
Just yeah. Well, if the saying goes, if music makes sense, we wouldn't have rock and roll, right?
Right.
So Is there any actor or actress that you've worked with that you would never want to work with again? And you could not answer this too. You don't have to. But
no,
you could just say if there actually was one.
No, there actually isn't a single person that I could think of that I thought was rude or disrespectful. You know, Tom Cruise, you know, kept a tight ship. You know, like they put tape off on our cameras on our phones to make sure that we weren't taking any pictures on set, which that was the only set that I've ever been on where they actually did that kind of thing. Otherwise, they just tell you, hey, don't take pictures.
Yeah.
So Tom Cruise kept a very tight ship, but he didn't seem like a rude or disrespectful kind of guy. He just kept a tight ship.
Right.
You know, no one was ever like a drama queen or rude or disrespectful. Even when I was like Flacco, you know, Hemke and I would walk by and he'd be like, hey, Flacco. I'd be like, hey, ¿qué pasó? You know, and like, you know, and I, you know, bumped into Alice Braga. You know, she was also on Suicide Squad just recently as well. And she was like walking her dog. And she's like, oh, hey, you know, it's so good to see you. You know, welcome to the show and everything like that. And I was like, oh, hey, you know, it's really great to meet you. So I got to meet you like in passing like this. I got to go. I just checked out. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I'm sure I'll see you soon and everything. You know, like everybody's just been like real nice and real pleasurable to be around. You know, it's funny to me awesome. Is though it's the ones that haven't made it to celebrity status yet
that are the pricks.
That are the biggest pricks that I've ever met.
Isn't that something?
It's weird.
Wow.
Celebrity in their own mind.
Maybe they're taking themselves too seriously.
Maybe. I mean, there was definitely one guy that took himself way too seriously, but
or he's afraid that you're going to take his role, or they're going to, you know what I mean? People were so competitive, maybe
territorial.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've had worse experiences in like my day-to-day life and, you know, even in my security job than I ever had on any set.
Mm-hmm.
Working with the public sucks. Having a job where you got to deal with the public just sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like being out in public. It gives me mad anxiety. Like I try to do the pickup orders for groceries.
We do too.
You know?
Yeah.
It's worse now than it's ever been, though.
Oh yeah, just to avoid going to the store.
So a couple more questions here. If you had to pick an actor to play you, so if your life was a TV sitcom or a movie and you had to pick one actor to play you, who would you pick?
One actor to play me in a sitcom or a movie. Myself.
Well, yeah, good answer. I like that. Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that can play me better than me. So
that's true. That's true.
Another being John Malkovich.
Yeah, no, I don't really know. I don't really know if there's an actor that I really resemble a lot with.
See, like Bubba would be the guy that played Kenny Powers.
I can see that.
You know.
Yeah, because I can't remember nothing. I got stuff written down. I fuck everything up down here. It's just a crazy. I'm not doing any blow, and I don't have.
Maybe that's where you're going wrong.
No. Oh my God.
Okay, so last question here.
I'm retired from that.
Last question here, Mike. Out of all your accomplishments, what do you want to be known for?
You know, I've thought about that a lot. You know, I try to live my life in a way that is, you know, what do I want to be known for? What's the legacy that I want to leave behind, especially, you know, for my kids, you know, my two daughters. And I think ultimately what I really want to be known for is, you know, endurance and perseverance and just, you know, getting through the dark, what you got to do to get through the dark kind of thing. And like just trying to remember your goals and trying to remind yourself that it's all worth it. And that if I can not to have an ableist mindset, but just that if I can find a way to make it all work for me, then, you know, I hope that inspires others to make it work for themselves.
Yeah, no, that's
a great answer. Yeah, because most people going into your field, they say, I want to entertain, which there's nothing wrong with that. But
Or I want to make
that's-
money.
I mean,
right?
I do want to entertain, and I definitely want to be able to create memories for people. Because one of the things that I loved about my upbringing was having shows, that reminded me of times when I was at my happiest. Like the 70s show, Friends,
Yeah.
even some of the Disney shows that I grew up on, like even Stevens, Lizzie McGuire,
Oh
and
yeah.
those ones. And Hilary Duff is one of the few actresses to come out of Disney that isn't completely screwed up.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf has gone on to do amazing things and is a very respectable actor.
Just
Mhm.
a little screwed up though.
He's got well, that's what happens. That happens. It happens. It's unfortunate. He had his moment. He definitely had his slip up. He had his breakdown for sure.
He's
But I
back. He's
definitely
back on
think
track.
he's
Probably, yeah.
back on track.
Oh, I think he made a
since
movie about it.
Fury,
Honey, or what was the movie he made?
Peter
him
Butter.
Honey
and-
Boy.
Yeah.
Honey Boy, yeah,
Oh.
and it talks about his like estranged father and stuff like that, I believe, or his abusive father. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet because I'm not ready for that type of emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
But he's since Fury though, and I think even before that with a few other things, he's definitely come a long way and is,
For sure.
is something to and is someone to be admired, I believe, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. But yeah, so anything you want to leave the audience with as far as plugs? What's next for you? How to get a hold of you on social media? Whatever you want to leave them with.
Well, I'm still working, a lot of background gigs. I actually just got an email right now to come back on to Ultraviolet Black Scorpion to do some more work on that set.
Nice.
So I'm still doing work.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm still doing work, so I would love to talk to anybody that has any questions about the industry. I love passing knowledge. I don't believe in gatekeeping knowledge or anything like that. So, I want to talk about all things film and anything like that. I definitely really want to make that my niche. So I'm really trying to rebuild my platforms. You can definitely find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. My TikTok handle and Instagram handle is my last name, Lloyd. That's Lloyd. Michael, Michael.
Yes,
C
not
as in
Philip.
Charlie.
I thought it was gonna be like Tank Gunner or Tanker or something like that.
Nah, I went with that because that sounded like the most professional one that I could
Yeah, I
use.
know. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I used to have ones like that though. I used
Right.
to have,
Like in the AIM day, the AIM or AOL, whatever. Day.
oh yeah, for sure,
for
sure. Like 520 killer or double dog 420 something.
Punisher
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Right.
Well, Mike, I learned a ton through this conversation. If you're interested, this one was about you and your story. But if you're interested, maybe we bring you back. We could talk something about more specific, Star Wars, Marvel, anything, movie wise or sitcom wise. If anything like that interests you too. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. Like I said, your story is great.
I learned a lot today, Mike, about your military and how a little bit of acting and stuff. And I wish you well. And like Mav said, if you ever want to come on, you have an open invitation anytime to just come on and shoot the shit and talk about stuff you like or you're critiquing or what you're doing.
Friend of the show now.
Yeah,
Awesome. I appreciate it. I would love to come back on here. I love talking movies, and so yeah, if whenever you guys need a film buff to debate with or criticize
That's
movies
awesome.
with, I'd love to come
Yeah.
on.
Well, the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian and stuff's gonna be coming out in December at some point. We're definitely gonna be talking about that. So if that's something that interests you, maybe we'll bring you back on, invite you.
We have like 16 million shows on our lovely stuff, Mike, and we have a thing called Unscripted where we just shoot the shit about stuff we like and Star Wars and pulp culture and Marvel and wrestling and just anything we watch on TV. That's what we do. We have no scripts needed. So that's what the three of us do. But yeah, if you ever want to pop on one of those, that'd be great. Whatever you want to do, if you're available, because I know you're busy with work and trying to get more gigs and writing and stuff. But like I said, it was great having you on, and I learned a lot. And I wish you all the best in your career. And hopefully we'll see you again on the Triple B Experience.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really awesome. And yeah, we'll definitely be in touch.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks,
Nice to
Mike.
meet you, man.
Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too.